A rollover accident in a remote Granite Falls area could have turned fatal if not for the brave and heroic actions of one teenage girl.
We were at my house and I was having 3 girls stay the night, Erica, Taylor, and Miranda. We had told my mom that we were going to go to Miguel's house and hang out, and in reality we went to a bonfire out in past Granite Falls and kind of the boondocks. We went out there and we left probably around midnight, and we were coming back around 2 in the morning, 2:10, and we were coming back down the roads and they're like winding and really curvy, and there was this curve and it was really hard to see, and like I guess Josh missed the curve or something. I don't know what happened. He slammed on the brakes and we drifted, and the back of the car hit a telephone pole, and we just clipped it, and the telephone pole snapped in half, and that took us diagonally off the road, and we hit a barbed wire fence and went straight into a tree, and it hit on the driver's side and made the whole part of the driver's side dent up. Everything just, went black, and then when I woke up, I was face down on the stick shift because I had been in the middle seat in the back row, and there's no seatbelt because it's a 4-seater car and we were 5. So when I woke up, I'm all dizzy, and I look over to the left and I see Josh, and he has blood coming out of his mouth and he's unconscious. So we asked Miranda, give us your cell phone, because everybody else's phone had ended up in the car, and the front of the car caught on fire. And she didn't want to hand it over to us, and she's like, no, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna call Taylor's sister, and it's gonna be okay, and she's gonna get us out of here. And I was like, no, we're gonna die. Like, he's gonna die if we don't call 911. And in the moment, she's thinking, this is bad, and she didn't want to get in trouble. So she disappears, and so I run back to the car, and I go into the driver's side window, and I'm trying to get Josh out, and by this time he's awake, and he's screaming because the radio that had been in the car had slid out and fallen into his leg, and his femur shot out of his knee about 6 inches. And so pretty much his femur was broken, and his legs were jammed underneath the car where the clutch is. And by this time, the dashboard was on fire. And, Josh is screaming, and he put his arm up like this to guard his face, and his arm caught on fire. And I was tugging on his seatbelt and pulling on him, and I burnt my forehead. I was pulling on his leg, pulling on him. He wouldn't get out. So I had to, tell him that, he's going to die if he doesn't try to get himself out. And so I grabbed his upper body, and he had to rip his leg out from where it was next to the radio. And so he tore his leg out, and he was screaming, and he was burned everywhere on his arms, and a little bit on his chest and his stomach. And I got him 40 feet out away from the car, and out of nowhere this guy shows up and goes, "Hi, my name's Jerry, and I just got off work." And it was 2:30 in the morning, and so it was by coincidence that he had gotten off work, and said I called 911, and in a big way, we all owe him, probably Josh's life and Taylor's life, and, because they were the ones most severely injured. Because if he wouldn't have called the cops, nobody else would have, and we would have been stuck out there on that field, and, Josh would have slipped into a coma, and he would have probably, worse outcome, passed away. Yeah, it actually really was a lesson that was learned, because it definitely shows you not to lie about where you're going, and it taught us a lot, almost watching somebody die. So it was a bad experience, so a hard way to learn a lesson, but yeah, none of us do the same stuff that we used to anymore, so we learned from it a lot. Everybody in the hospital, and they were saying that I was a hero, and you saved Taylor's life, you saved Josh's life, and I was like, no, I think that in that situation, that's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? You don't let somebody die. and you put somebody's life before yours.